Do cables matter? Yes, I think so. Hello guys, today we'll be talking about a very controversial topic, which is IM cables. Do they matters? Okay, to me, I think so, and I think that a lot of people will disagree with me or felt that it's skeptical, it's just snake oil. But hear me out, actually cables is a very established thing in like Hong Kong or somewhere in China, because they started their hobby slightly a bit earlier, and there are a lot of brands that are very well established for more than decades there. So that's why cables there is very normal. But to most of the international market, okay, to maybe most of the English market, is not the case. Okay, that's not the case there yet, I would think so. And I'm talking about all these cables because I think that there are a lot of exposure on people talking about cables, and I think that as me myself, as a person that work in an audio store, that I am able to like try out dozens of cables, and a lot of newer cables, expensive cables there with a lot of IEMs. Maybe I might be the person that can give you all a bit more insight on cables. And for people that are skeptical, maybe you can have a different point of view after that. So let's talk about cables, and maybe we start off with why people really don't believe in cable. So there are a few factors. Some of them I don't really have an answer yet, but just this is what I've seen or what I speculate. Okay, first of all is that nowadays we have a lot of people that really looking into like graph. Yes, graph. People, they are die-hard fans that look at graph at everything before they listen, and after they look at the graph, they think that that's how it is. For those kind of people, yes, if you change a cable don't really change your graph. Okay, it will look exactly the same. But to me, is that a graph don't really tell you everything. It don't tell you like how the sound staging, the detail retrieval capabilities, and then also like maybe the speed of the IEM. All these, there are a lot of different aspects of the IEM, the sound that cannot be seen from the graph. So this is where the changes that a cable made is actually not there. That's why people are not believing it. But of course, you need to keep in mind that open mind. Okay, please be open-minded, so that cables don't really alter sound that much. Okay, cables mostly only improve here and there. So cables, I would say that your IEM will do like 90% of the work, and the rest of the 10%, this is where your cable step in. So people will, if you are chasing for that last 10% or like 20%, this is where your cables will step in. You will start to look for high-res audio file, FLAC file or something, and you will look for like a better source, and as well lastly maybe a more suitable listen environment, a quiet place. This is all the things that were made up to make you have that final 10 to 20% of that listening experience. So cable is part of that. Okay, not really like night and day. Cable is 50% of the cable or something, just very minor, and it only improve here and there. Okay, so next is that the budget might be the budget of the cable. So why people are skeptical? I was skeptical as well. So because the price of the cables are really expensive. Yes, so we have seen like $500 cables all the way up to like $8,000 cables, which is ridiculous. That's why it is a little bit, people are very normal for people to be skeptical about how cables can go up to like so expensive. But after you understand, if you give it a little bit of homework and see what is their structures like, okay, and how do they like break their IEM and all, how do they structurize their materials and all, and what material that they use, you might think that sometimes it does make sense somewhere. Okay, so see, they have like gold, they have like silver cables, palladium, or even all of those in one single cable. That's why making them very expensive, hence people are very skeptical about it. Yes, me too. So, and next is that people don't see this is a repetitive point where people don't really like see a very super noticeable difference in cables, because like I say, it only improve here and there, small little things. And it's also not very fair when people say that there's no difference. It's that these people, they have bought like maybe 3 cables from AliExpress, each cost you $40 or $50. So try out all 3 of them and tell you that there are no difference in cable rolling. And it's not really that fair, as in $50 cables don't really that is not that good, and the performance that it won't really like change a whole lot of your sound, and cable at first is really not that noticeable change. So that's why people who try all those like cheaper cables say that it doesn't matter. It's a bit not fair. Okay, so let's move on to like when and why should you like change or upgrade your cables. So to me personally, okay, so when do you need to go and do it is that when you have an IM that you cherish so much, you love so much, if it accompany you all along, I mean all the time, like for years or something, like for example you like your Monarch or you like your Monarch Mark III, okay, it's been your night and day. When you do homework, you listen to it. When you play games, you listen to it. When you're commuting, you listen to it. When you work, you listen to it. And you felt that there are small little things that you don't like about the Monarch Mark III, okay, just here and there little bit. This is the time for you to like look into cables, that because you don't need to like really change your IM into something else, because that would be a totally different sound, okay, entirely. So you want to retain this sound, but you just want a minor improvement. For example, you want an even wider soundstage, okay, you want a slightly speedier bass, okay, or maybe you just want to bump the upper mid-range presence, okay. So this is a time that you can start to look for cables and to like give it a good like homework. Okay, you need to actually, the best method is to go and try out, okay. And there are rules to like going for like cable rolling and starting to looking into cables. First of all is that, like I said, you really need to try, because there are people who are talking about cables online, and don't trust all the brands, okay, because how brands will really like put it out there is that, oh, this cable do like magic, okay, it will improve your bass, improve your mids, improve your highs, improve your soundstage and detail retrieval. So it does all. There's nothing like this out there yet, okay. So don't believe them and do a little bit more homework and check it out from some more reputable people and see how do they describe some cables, or just drop by. If you're in Singapore, drop by to like Zeppelin & Co. We are welcoming you to go and try the cables and tell us what IM that you're using. Most of the time we would know like what cables to recommend to you, or just let us know that which aspect that you wish to improve. Okay, so next is that when you go into cables, so look out for the prices. Okay, so for example, you are using a Monarch Mark III, which costs you like $999 US. So it's not very sensible or very logical if you are going to look at the cable that costs you like $700. It just makes really like no sense. Okay, so it depends on your acceptance to cable, how much that you are willing to spend. I think for Monarch Mark III, $999. Maybe if you're willing to like spend $200 to $300, that would be just nice. Okay, it won't like hurt your wallet too much, and you don't really need to like change your IM entirely and change the sound entirely. So that's why I think about cables is expensive, but it's relative. Okay, because they don't really force you to buy a cable. Okay, so it's up to you on which price that you're looking at. So different price will have different choices, so you just go into the price bracket that you are comfortable with. And next is pick a reputable brand. Yes, because there are a lot of like AliExpress unnamed cable in the internet, and because cables, I would say that the material, you can't really like look into what material that they are made of inside. Okay, even if you cut them out, okay, you can't really like tell what is the purity, what is the structure like, and also you only based on their description, the seller descriptions. Okay, so most of the time this will hurt the market, as in some of them really aren't that good. Okay, so look for reputable brand that are quite established. We have a lot of brands of cables just doing cable alone that's in the market for more than like decades or 2 decades. So look out for those brands, and most of the time you'll be quite safe. Okay, and lastly is to spend wisely. Okay, we don't and they don't force you to like go into cables and force you to buy a $500 cables. Just spend at a price that you are really comfortable with. If you are using a $80 IM, I would say that maybe save up a bit more and just upgrade your IM. Yeah, there are so many choices up there, and don't really like, it's not really worth it to like go into swapping cables in this price category, because I think most of the cables that are really good or make noticeable changes are starting to sell at roughly around like $100 to $200. This is the sweet spot. Okay, so I think that if you are using a $500 IM and you wish to improve, then maybe yes, from there you can start to look for like $100 liquid links cable. Especially we sell a lot of that, and it's really good. It's selling for like 120 or 110 USD, the liquid links Conti, which is one of our best seller in the shop. So yeah, this is what is the rules of like changing cables, and what's my insight of IM cables. And if you have made it through here, I will talk about one cables that I love ever since I met them in like Can Jam 2024, which is in April. So it's called Vortex Cable. So like I say about reputable brand, so this Vortex is one of the reputable brand from Hong Kong. So first time I noticed them is that I was being amazed by how pretty they do their splitter. Okay, their cable splitter is really good looking, so gotten my attentions. And also their cable, they're using fabric. Yes, most people don't really like fabric cable, but then to me, I just think that it's all right. Okay, it's not really that bad. So this cable that I'll be talking today is this cable called Eddie Squared. Yes, EDDIE, Eddie, a name of a person, correct? Which is this Eddie. If you can Google it online, you can search for like Eddie Hifi. I think Google will bring it to the right place. Is quite a reputable person in the hobby, at least in the Chinese realm. Okay, most of the people in the Chinese community would know him, because as in he have a lots of IM, like maybe around like 80 IMs, and most of them is flagship IM. Okay, not 80 Chi-Fi IMs. Okay, you have like 80 IMs consists of like 64 audio, VE, vision ears, fur audio, those kind of super expensive IM. Yes, so AD is also reputable in doing reviews in like cables, recommending cables, and he had a lot of those written reviews, and a lot of people really trusted that, and he's very knowledgeable in terms of cable. No one have really tried that much cable like he does. So he got in contact with like Vortex Cable. So I don't know how it happens, but all of them like just contact each other, and they just decided to like come up with a collaborations. Okay, so this is a collaboration between like Eddie with the brand, and they come up with a cable which is called the Eddie Squared. Actually, they had another collaboration which was a success called Eddie. So it's from the brand Toxic Cable. So Toxic Cable Eddie, that cable was a success. So maybe now they come up with another cable, and this time, okay, Eddie said that he wanted something very, I would say, affordable. At the same time, that sounded using a copper cable that maybe make it sound a little bit like a gold-plated silver cable, which is expensive, man. So to see whether will Vortex Cable be able to cook up something like this, and yes, they did. They did really like cook up something. So this is a copper cable with shielding. Yes, shielding is very important. As to me, I think that it makes everything so much more, I would say, cleaner. And the background is really like pitch black kind of background. And if you ever try a shielded cable, you can't like go back and use other cable because the experience is so different. And this is a copper cable that have shielding, so I would say that it's a very nice and special experience for me at this price point. This is selling at 300 USD, which is, I think, that is quite reasonable. So if you are using something like Monarch Mark III, that kind of price range, it's very, I would say, sensible to like doing an upgrade like this. So this Vortex cable, let's go back to it, and I will show you the build and quality. Everything, I would say, that is top notch, as in the splitter. So this splitter, like I said, it's not their usual Vortex cable splitter because it's a collaboration. So I think they all did a small little design of a logo of Eddie there. So it's quite cool. If you look into it, if you really pay attention, you can see that this logo actually consists of the whole word Eddie. So you need to split up all the alphabet. You can see that it's called Eddie, and I would say that it's quite solid, and it's in purple color because Eddie, I believe Eddie's wife have chosen this color, as I heard. So it's in purple, so it might match up with some of your colorful IEMs very, very well. And it comes with ConX as well. So if you know, ConX is a system from Effect Audio. You can change it to 2-pin or MMCX for this cable, and I think that is quite handy if you have, for people who have a lot of cables, a lot of IEM that you wish to do cable rolling. And also it comes in 4.4. The accessories that they are given really not that much, because to save cost, this is a cable that they are trying to sell at a very affordable price. Looking at the rest that they are selling, those are more expensive. Okay, so we have a pouch here saying Vortex, and just nice, you can hang it around with you with your DAP or with one or two of your IEM inside and walk around. And of course, the ConX that was being provided inside, you have your tool to open up your ConX and also MMCX here, so you can just change. And I think that this cable, how does it like sonically change the IEM is that, although this is a copper cable, so copper cable, general consensus is that it's supposed to be quite warm sounding. Okay, so it is not entirely right, because this cable was tuned towards like more transparency. To me, I think the first thing that I heard on this cable is that just felt that everything is a little bit more clearer, partly because of the shielding, because it's shielded, everything is so pitch black in the background, so you'll be able to find out a lot of micro details here and there easily. And of course, the way that they cook it, okay, so I don't know what's the term to use for cable. The way they cook it is that they try to make it a bit more transparent, like what Eddie would have requested, to make it a little bit more like the gold-plated silver, more transparency, and make your vocal mid-range a little bit fuller. So this is what the cable ultimately done. It does remain a little bit of that copper characteristic where it's a little bit warm, but I would say that this is the least warm copper cable that I came across, because the rest of the copper cable out there in the market mostly are really warm. Yes, so this is, I would say, the least warm, but it still have a little bit of that warmish inside. And also it give you more transparency. So if you have an IM that you wish that is a little bit cleaner, for example Monarch Mark III, you wish that because the bass is a bit slow, so sometimes you just want it to be slightly a little bit cleaner in that kind of aspect, you can use this cable because of that shielded thing. And also the Monarch Mark III, the upper mid-range, the vocal don't really stand out because of the amount of bass and the amount of treble that it has. So this cable will be able to give it that and give it a little bit more like fuller presentation. So I would think that it's a very good pairing. And right now, of course, I'm not pairing it with Monarch Mark III. I have better stuff on it there. So right now I'm pairing it with the SenseTop, which also one of my favorite IM. SenseTop is really quite a resolving IM. It gives you quite good details and staging as well to begin with. But I just think that first of all, the color matching is perfect because my Zen top is kind of custom, so not really custom shape, but then the faceplate is custom, so very colorful, and paired with this is, I would say, aesthetically is very matching. So one of the reason. Another reason is that I think that I want to have a IM that is super resolving and can get all the details that I want. So because I don't really have an IM that is really super ultra good in detail retrieval and transparent in terms of transparency and resolution, so that's why I pair it together. I just find that it's quite nice. Okay, it's quite nice. The upper mid-range, the SenseTop don't really have the fullest female vocal, the upper mid-range, so I think that this cable have done it like perfectly. And also the night and day difference is the bass also, as in the bass now is much more cleaner, much more, I would say that not so muddy. It's not that it's muddy, just that it has a lot of it if you're using on stock cable. So now is, I would say that, pretty good on this kind of setup and this kind of upgrade. So this is why I would say that cables don't change the whole sound of it. Okay, so it still sounds like a top, but with a top with slightly a little bit more resolution, a bit cleaner background. So this is all my thoughts about cables, and hope you all don't really like hate it. Okay, have an open mind. Cables is also part of the hobby, and hope you all spend wisely. And see you all next time. Bye bye.